Hello everyone. This lesson is a continuation of our previous discussions on the symbols used in the anti-colonial movement. Today, we turn our attention to the iconic song Vande Mataram, a powerful cultural symbol that galvanized nationalist sentiment during the freedom struggle. More than just a patriotic anthem, Vande Mataram invoked the image of the nation as a divine and nurturing mother, effectively intertwining spirituality, emotional belonging, and political resistance. We will explore how this image of Mother India became central to constructing a collective national identity and fostering unity across linguistic, regional, and cultural divides. Vande Mataram is the national song of India. It holds deep cultural and historical significance and is often used to express patriotism and love for the country. The song's title, Vande Mataram, translates to I bow to thee, Mother, and symbolizes reverence for the motherland. It has played a crucial role in India's struggle for independence and continues to inspire patriotic feelings. In this lecture, we will explore how the song Vande Mataram transcended religious and caste boundaries to foster political unity among the people. We will take a closer look at the controversies surrounding this song and how it evolved to represent a more secular image of a mother despite its strong religious roots. The song Vande Mataram was created by the famous Bengali writer Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in his famous novel Anandamath. The novel is set against the backdrop of the Sannyasi rebellion that took place in the late 18th century in northern Bengal. The sannyasis were ascetic monks who led a revolt against British colonial rule. In the novel, the song is sung by these monks as an expression of their love for the motherland and their determination to fight for its freedom. In the first part of the song, it portrays the mother as someone who represents the beauty of nature. But in the second part, it changes things up a bit. It presents the mother as more than just a natural figure. She is like a divine idol. She embodies knowledge, righteousness or dharma, and is the very life and soul within us. People even worship her in temples, and she combines the qualities of goddesses like Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. So, in simple terms, she is not just a mother but a divine and revered presence. You will be surprised to note that the song Vande Mataram was not originally about Bharat Mata or the Mother India. When Bankim Chandra wrote it, the idea of Bharat Mata hadn't even come into existence. Then, who is the mother referred to in the song Vande Mataram? Well, the song Vande Mataram, with its personification of the motherland as the mother goddess, originally referred to Bengal. In this particular context, the mother who the prayers are offered to is Banga Mata or Mother Bengal. This regional connection of the song with Bengal was so strong that Aurobindo Ghosh referred to Vande Mataram as the national anthem of Bengal. In short, the song's primary focus was on the love and devotion to Bengal as the motherland. It was only about 20 years later that the song Vande Mataram came to signify Bharat Mata or the Mother India. As the song Vande Mataram gained immense popularity in Bengal during the Swadeshi movement, in 1896 it was turned into music by Rabindranath Tagore, and he sung the song at a congress session in Calcutta. This song became really popular during the Swadeshi movement in Bengal in the early 1900s, and it was used as a sort of mantra by revolutionary groups in Bengal. There was even an English newspaper called Bande Mataram, which supported this movement. Later on, during the anti-partition movement in 1905, its influence began to spread to other parts of India. Thus, a song penned more than 2 decades earlier became a rallying point for unity among people who saw this division as unjust. In 1906, during the annual Congress session held in Calcutta, delegates from all across the country experienced the electrifying impact of the song and its slogan on the assembled crowds. Inspired by the impact this song had upon the people, Bal Gangadhar Tilak returned to Maharashtra and popularized Vande Mataram as a nationalist declaration. Notably, the famous poet Subramanya Bharati later translated the song into Tamil, making it immensely popular in the southern regions of the country. As the idea of Bharat Mata or Mother India gained prominence in the second decades of the 20th century, the mother in Vande Mataram became synonymous with India as a whole. But there is more to this story. In the 1920s, when the song Vande Mataram became a regular feature at public meetings organized by the Congress in Bengal, it sparked objections from Muslims. The controversy didn't stop at the regional level. It soon reached the national stage. Muslim members of the Congress objected to the song's use in Congress meetings. This dispute escalated to such an extent that in 1937, a committee was in fact formed with prominent figures like Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Abdul Kalam Azad and Narendra Dev to address the matter. To resolve the matter, they sought the advice of Tagore. Tagore suggested, while the latter verses of the song might be problematic for those who followed a strictly monotheistic religion, the first verse could be sung by everyone. In a letter to Jawaharlal Nehru in October 1937, Tagore wrote specifically about the first part of the song. He says, "I found no difficulty in separating it from the rest of the poem and from those portions of the book of which it's a part, with all the sentiments of which, brought up as I was in the monotheistic ideals of my father, I could have no sympathy. I freely concede that the whole of Bangim's Vande Mataram, read together with its context, is liable to be interpreted in ways that might wound Muslim susceptibilities. But a national song, though derived from it, which has spontaneously come to consist only of the first 2 stanzas of the original poem, need not remind us every time of the whole of it, much less of the story with which it was accidentally associated." This appeared in Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay's Rabindra Jeevani, volume 4. It can be found out in the Shantiniketan Vishwabharati library. Thus, the Indian National Congress adopted the first verse of Vande Mataram as a national song in 1937. Thus, in its journey to other parts of India, only the first verse in Sanskrit was recited. The specific religious references were often left out. This shows how the song evolved to represent the entire nation. This controversy also brought to light the challenges of accommodating diverse religious beliefs within the national movement. On the one side, I would like to mention that even though Tagore, himself a part of the Brahmo Samaj, a religious group with a belief in strict monotheism, often used the rich imagery of the mother goddess from the Bengal culture to express deep love and respect for the motherland. Although the song wasn't universally accepted in Bengal, especially by the Muslims in East Pakistan, which is now called Bangladesh, due to the political divisions between Muslims and Hindus, they also eventually found a national anthem that would capture the sentiments of love and devotion associated with the mother figure. When Bangladesh became independent in 1971, the song chosen as its national anthem was a song that Tagore himself composed in 1905. The song begins with this line, Amar Sonar Bamla, Ami Tomaye Bhalo Bhashi. Here too, the land of Bengal is depicted as mother, but she is the familiar, everyday mother in her village home who shelters, feeds, sings and plays. When Pakistan declared Urdu as its sole national language, the people of East Pakistan, which is now called Bangladesh, protested. After gaining independence, the people of Bangladesh found a national anthem that could express their deep love and devotion to the motherly symbol in this culture. This shows how songs and cultural symbols can hold deep meaning and reflect complex historical and political insights. The depiction of the mother, whose honor is at stake, played a very crucial role in uniting people under a common cause. This image of a secular mother, one that everyone can relate to, regardless of their caste or religion, greatly contributed to fostering unity. It transcended the barriers that often divided communities. In the context of a patriarchal society, it is typically seen as the moral duty of male members of the family to protect women, and by extension, the honor of the motherland. Those male members who are unable to defend the honor of the country will be perceived as lacking in strength and courage, which can lead to questioning their ability to fulfill this traditional role. This emphasizes how deeply ingrained cultural and societal expectations can influence perceptions of duty and responsibility, even within a broader context of a nation's honor and duty. The image of a secular mother, as depicted in Vande Mataram, played a very pivotal role in bringing people together under a shared purpose, transcending religious, caste, and linguistic differences. It served as a unifying symbol that connected individuals with a strong sense of common cause beyond the usual divides, fostering a sense of national identity and purpose. It's interesting to note that in Anandamath, Mahendra initially remains unconvinced by the cause of the sannyasis. However, the very moment he is urged to protect the honor of Bangamata, Mother Bengal, something shifts within him. His hesitation dissolves and he is compelled to join the struggle. This transformation begins on an emotional appeal to the figure of the mother, which proves more persuasive than political reasoning alone. When Bhavananda remarks, I had a kind of idea that you were a man worth the name, but now I see you are what all the rest of them are, merely the death of ghee and milk. It is, Mahendra's masculinity that is being questioned here. His failure to respond to the call of the mother is portrayed not just as a lack of patriotism, but as a failure of manhood itself. The novel thus ties together nationalist duty with masculine honor, reinforcing the symbolic potency of the mother figure in mobilizing men for the anti-colonial cause. The image of Bharat Mata was also very helpful in getting the peasants to join the fight against the British rule. It did this without educating the masses about self-rule or Swaraj and the issues with foreign rule. It was crucial for the educated leaders of the independence movement to have the support of the common people. Without that, the emerging Indian bourgeoisie class wouldn't stand a chance against the British and wouldn't be able to achieve independence. But there was a big problem. Since achieving sovereign powers from the colonial forces was an urgent project, the best feasible way before the nationalist intelligentsia was to appropriate the masses. The biggest challenge they faced at this juncture was the cultural schism that existed between the nationalist elites and the agrarian populace. In other words, there was a discursive division between those who made the world and they inhabited intelligible via modernist discourse, and those who did not. To solve this particular problem, they had two options in their mind. The first one was that they should educate the common people about why it is important to resist the British and regain control of India. However, this would take a long time because it meant changing the way people thought. Secondly, they could get the support of the common people even if they didn't completely understand the ideas of the independence movement. This was more practical choice because it was urgent to gain independence from the British. This is where images like Bharat Mata come in handy. They simplified the reasons for the fight for independence and connected it to familiar gender equations. The figure of Bharat Mata can be traced back to Buddhadev Mukhopadhyay's satirical text Unabhimsa Purana, the 19th Purana, first published anonymously in 1866. In this work, Bharat Mata appears as Adi Bharati, the widow of Arya Swami, an allegorical embodiment of everything deemed Aryan. The image of the dispossessed motherland further evolved in Kiran Chandra Bandyopadhyay's play Bharat Mata, first staged in 1873, which left a lasting impression on the early nationalist imagination. However, a defining moment in the shaping of this symbol occurred with Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's Anand Math. In Anand Math, the figure of the mother undergoes an evolutionary transformation marked by three distinct phases. The first image of the goddess that is shown in the novel is the idol of Jagadhatri, the mother as she was. This image of goddess is glorious. She sits on a lotus throne over wild beasts, representing the past age of glory and greatness. This implies a past when the nation was autonomous, free from alien domination. Such an image is very much a representation of India's past before the colonial domination. It is colorful, well-ordered, and full of potential for wealth and culture. Her victory over the savage beasts may be interpreted as a metaphor for India's ancient civilization, power to overcome chaos and impose harmony. The description of the goddess mentioned in this novel is worth quoting in this context. The description of the goddess goes as follows. She trampled underfoot the elephants of the forest and all wild beasts, and in the hunt of the wild beasts she erected her lotus throne. She was covered with every ornament, full of laughter and beauty. She was in hue like the young sun, splendid with all opulence and empire. Bow down to the mother. In stark contrast to the first image is the second one. The second image found is that of Kali, the mother as she now is. It is gruesome, adorned with skulls, riding on Shiva, and in a shroud of darkness. She is stationed in a cemetery. This is how she is actually portrayed in the novel. Kali is enveloped in darkness, full of blackness and gloom. She is stripped of all, therefore naked. Today, the whole country is a burial ground. Therefore, is the mother garlanded with skulls. Her own God, she tramples under her feet. Alas, my mother. This is a very interesting quote from the text. This form depicts the devastation brought by colonialism. A people debased from its dignity, reduced to death and quiet. And yet, there is more than melancholy about fierce imagery of Kali. The club and skull she holds imply potential power. She is not helpless but passive. The Brahmachari's observations, "We have only just given weapons into our mother's hands," admonishes the people to the role they must play in resurrecting the sleeping power of rebellion. Kali is therefore a metaphor for pent-up anger and pent-up energy, waiting for the people to act upon it so that it may develop into revolution. The ultimate vision is the idol of 10-armed Durga, the mother as she shall be. She is bathed in golden rays, she is victorious, and she is accompanied by Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kartikeya and Ganesh. She stands for an ideal future with the mother as the completely empowered being. Each divine associate symbolizes an essential aspect of national resurgence, prosperity, learning, strength and success. The 10 arms of Durga go in all directions, symbolizing unity in diversity and a pan-Indian nationalist vision. This represents the political desire for a free, independent and shining India, which is capable of surmounting all obstacles. The description of the goddess is as follows. Suddenly, the rays of the morning sun shone in their eyes, and from every side the sweet-voiced family of birds shrilled in song. In a white temple built in stone of marble, they saw a beautifully fashioned image of the 10-armed goddess, made in gold, laughing and radiant in the light of the early sun. The ascetic saluted the image and said, "This is the mother as she shall be." Her 10 arms are extended towards the 10 rigorous and they bear many foes imagined in her manifold weapons. Her enemies are trampled under her feet, and the lion on which her foot rests is busy destroying the foe. Behold her with the regions for her arms. As she spoke, Satyananda began to sob. With the regions for her arms, wielder of manifold weapons, trampler down of her foes, with the lion heart for the steed of her riding. On her right, Lakshmi as prosperity. On her left, speech giver of learning and science. Kartikeya with her as strength. Ganesh as success. The shifting images reflect a growing nationalist sentiment seeking to harness familiar religious iconography to broaden its popular appeal. Jasodhara Bagchi observes that Anandamath also represents Bangim's ideological response to the Western positivist doctrine of order and progress, articulating a uniquely Indian vision of transformation rooted in cultural and spiritual revival. As nationalist sentiment deepened in colonial India, the symbolic representation of the nation also underwent a significant transformation, particularly in visual and iconographic terms. The abstract concept of the motherland began to take on divine form, drawing heavily from the religious imagination of the time. One of the most influential shifts in this symbolic language occurred with the work of the artist Abanindranath Tagore. He played a crucial role in shaping the visual culture of Indian nationalism through his iconic painting of Bharat Mata. In Tagore's rendering, Bharat Mata was no longer merely a metaphor for the motherland or literary figure. She was elevated to the status of a deity. Drawing upon the iconography of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, abundance and prosperity, Abanindranath Tagore portrayed Bharat Mata as a serene and benevolent figure. She was dressed not in royal or martial attire, but in the humble robes of a Vaishnavite nun, suggesting both spiritual authority and renunciation. Her hands held symbolic objects, a book, sheaves of rice, a piece of white cloth, and a rosary, representing learning, sustenance, self-reliance, and devotion. This image carried profound political resonance. This portrayal invited a devotional response to the nation itself by merging nationalist aspirations with sacred imagery. It called upon the people not merely to admire or serve the nation, but to revere and protect her as one would a divine mother. Thus, the figure of Bharat Mata emerged not just as a symbol of land, but as a spiritual embodiment of collective identity and aspiration. Having analyzed all the major points, let's now wrap up this session. The song Vande Mataram is the national song of India, signifying deep patriotism and love for the country. Initially created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in the context of Bengal, it expressed reverence for the motherland. Over time, it transcended religious and regional boundaries to foster political unity among people during India's struggle for independence. Despite its religious roots, the song evolved to represent a more secular image of a mother that everyone could relate to, helping bridge cultural divides. While it faced controversies and objections from some religious groups, the Indian National Congress adopted the first verse as the national song in 1937, emphasizing its unifying role in the independence movement. This evolution of the song highlights the challenges of accommodating diverse religious beliefs within a national context and the power of cultural symbols in expressing love and devotion for the motherland. The portrayal of a mother figure whose honor is at stake served as a unifying symbol, fostering unity among people from diverse backgrounds, regardless of caste or religion. This image of a secular mother transcended societal barriers and resonated in a patriarchal society where it was considered the moral duty of male family members to protect women and the motherland's honor. Failure to defend the country's honor was seen as a lack of strength and courage. This highlights how deeply ingrained cultural and societal expectations influenced perceptions of duty and responsibility. Vande Mataram played a pivotal role in uniting people under a common purpose, transcending divisions and promoting a sense of national unity. I hope you understood these lessons. Thank you.